Hello students, today we are going to learn about the direct and the indirect speech. A main grammar lesson from grade 9 to grade 11 and the main grammar question on the GC O level final examination test number 11 or 12. Right? Most of us struggle in this question, but it is not so much difficult as you think. It's a very simple and easier section. Right? Let's go through. What is direct and what is indirect speech? First, we should be clear on that. When we convey messages, we can use both forms. We can convey it as a direct message or as indirect form. When we convey it in direct speech, we use quotation marks, or we may write it as a dialogue form, or we may use speech bubbles also. But when we convey the message in indirect form, we use that, and we don't use inverted commas or commas for the reporting speech. Before that, when we use direct speech, we use the word actually spoken by the speaker. We use the actual words of the speaker. But in indirect speech, we use our own words to convey the message. This is the main difference between direct speech and the indirect speech. But we don't change the meaning in any situation. The direct speech is converted into indirect speech in our own words without changing the meaning. In direct speech, the message is conveyed in the inverted commas or quotation mark, or we can use the speech bubbles also. In GC O level examination, they use speech bubbles to convert to show the direct messages. In the role play or in the dialogue form, we use direct speech to convey a message. Right? The message is conveyed in speaker's actual words, and in indirect speech, the message is conveyed in our own words. And the direct speech is written in the quotation mark, and the indirect speech written without comma or inverted comma. At the same time, before going into the lesson, right. This is a direct form of speech. Here, this part is called reporting speech, and this part is called reported speech. This is called the reporting verb. Right. When using direct speech, we use the reporting verbs said or say or tell or told. Likewise, asked or answered or replied. It depends on the mood of the sentences, statements. Right. This reporting verb decides that whether we are going to change or backshift the verb form or not. These verbs decide them. Right. Now, when changing into the reported speech, we should remove the comma and the inverted comma. Usually we put a comma between the reporting speech and the reported speech. When changing into reported speech, we should remove the comma and the inverted comma. Then that is put between the reporting verb and the reported speech. But it is not compulsory, it is optional. We can use that or we can omit that, but mostly we put that when writing into indirect speech. And the first letter in the quotation mark might be in the capital letter, and when we change it into indirect speech, we change the first letter into small one. And there are changes in the pronouns. These changes depend on the speaker. The first person pronoun and the second person pronoun have to be changed. The third person pronouns are not changed because they do not depend on the speaker or the listener. Right? And the tense is changed according to the rules. The table will be given, but it depends on the reporting verb. Change the words expressing nearness of time and place. Why do we change the direct speech into indirect speech? Because both occur in different time. Direct speech and indirect speech do not occur at the same time and at the same place. That we imagine that the statement may be false when we report it to the another one. The speaker speaks at different time at different place, and the listener carries this message to a different person to a different place at different time. So we don't know whether the statement is true all the time. So we change the tense. We backshift the tense, change it to past tense. But it does not occur all the time. Right? Here, these are the words that express the nearness of time and place, and it is shown that how they are changed into indirect speech. Right? Here, changed as there, because the speaker spoke in a different place and the message is now spoken, reported in the another place. So the places differ, so the here changed into there. Today changed as that day, this morning changed as that morning, yesterday changed as the day before, or we can use the previous day also. Tomorrow is changed as the next day or the following day, we can use the following day. Next week is changed into the following week. The next month changed into the following month. Now is changed into then, because the time differs from the direct speech and the indirect speech. Ago changed as before, thus changed as so. Last night changed as the night before. This changed as that. These changed as those. Hence changed into thence. Hence means from now. Thence means from then. Hither changed into thither. Hither means from here or from so there, from there. Right. Here are some examples how the tenses are changed. When we change into indirect speech, we should consider word by word. We should go through the word by word, whether the word changes or not. He said, this is in direct speech, he said, I go to school every day. And when we change that, he said, the comma is removed and the inverted comma is also removed, and we put that instead of that place. He said, we remove the comma and the inverted comma and put that. This pronoun I denotes the speaker. So it denotes him. So the subject pronoun is changed as he. I changed as he. Went, it is in the present tense, so we should change it in the past tense. The past of go, went. To school every day. Now the simple present tense change as simple past tense. When you go through word by word, it automatically changes the tense. Simple past, he said, I went to school every day. I used the same examples to for your convenience. It will be easier to compare with one another. Right. He said, the comma and the inverted comma are removed and that is put there. This I denotes him, so the speaker is he, so the subject pronoun is he. The past of the past is past perfect tense, had plus past participle. So went is changed into past perfect, had plus past participle, had gone to school every day. So the simple past tense is changed into past perfect. Now this is in present perfect tense. He said, I have gone to school. Here also the same, the inverted comma and the comma are removed and that is included. The subject pronoun is changed, I is changed into he. The past of have is had. Have gone is changed into had gone. So present perfect has changed into past perfect. So for both tenses, for past tense and present perfect, the indirect will be in past perfect tense. The present continuous tense, look here, he said, I am going to school now. I am. As usual, the comma and the inverted comma are removed and that is used. I denotes him, so the subject pronoun changed as he, and I am, the past of I am is was. Going to school, he was going to school then. So here was plus present participle, it goes as past continuous tense. So the present continuous goes as past continuous tense. Here past continuous, he said, I was going to school every day. When we change this, he said that, I denotes him, so he. The past of was had been plus present participle, had been going to school every day. So the was is changed into had been and the past continuous is changed into past perfect continuous. The future tense, he said, I will go to school every day. The will changes as would, and now he said that he would go, would plus verb stem is used here, would go to school every day. Here's a table how the auxiliary verbs changes when we change into indirect speech. The can changes as could. The could is the past of the can, so the can is changed as could. May is changed as might. Shall is changed as should. Must change as had to, and these do not make any changes when we change into indirect speech. Could remains could. Would remains would. Might remains might. Should remains should. And ought to remains ought to. They do not show any changes in their tense. There are some situations when we don't change them into past tense. This type of question was once in the GC O-level final paper, that they used the reporting verb says. When do we don't change the tense? If the reporting verb is in present tense or in the future tense. If the reporting verb is in present, there is no need to change the reported speech into past tense, as the speaker always repeats that. So, we imagine that the statement in the courts is true all the time, right? Look here, if the reporting verb is says or say or tells or tell, that means that the speaker often repeats that. So, we can conclude that the statement in the quotation mark is true all the time. So, we don't change the main verb in the reported speech. In indirect, we change it. He says that, we remove the comma and the inverted comma. The pronoun is changed into he often, but you should be careful here that the go is used when the subject pronoun is I, but here the subject pronoun is he. So, according to the subject verb agreement, do is used when the subject is I, and if the subject is he, I should use does. So, go plus does changed as goes. Be careful of that. You should note that when the subject changes, we should consider about the subject verb agreement, right? The tense do not change, but the subject changes according to that the verb also changes, right? He often goes to school late. If the reporting verb is in future tense, our teacher will say, I punish the students who disturb my class. Our teacher will say, remove the comma and the inverted comma and put that. The teacher may be he, it is a neuter gender, so it may be he or she. You can use anything. So, the subject changes, I is changed as he or she. So, the verb should be changed, the verb plus does. So, the punish changes as punishes the students who disturb. Again, there is a pronoun my class, it is teacher's class, it is a possessive adjective. So, my class is changed as, if you use he as the subject, it is his class. If you use she as the subject, it is her class, right? His or her class. The other instance where the verb do not change into the past, the universal truth. The words in the quotation marks talk of the universal truth. Universal truth is always true, that we all know. They are true all the time. So, we don't change the tense, we don't backshift it. So, look here, grandmother said, the southwest monsoon brings rain. it is true always. So, grandmother said that, remove the comma and the inverted comma, change the first letter into small. The southwest monsoon brings rain. There are no changes. This is the question in 2010 GC O level final examination. They gave the instruction only. These people have gone to the doctor, write what they are saying in reported speech. The first one is done for you. Only in the example they mentioned that the reporting verb is says and the tense do not change. So, according to the example you have to follow that. So, the reporting verb is says and the tense do not change. I get pains in my leg. She says that she, the subject is changed she, so get changed as gets, pains in her leg. The second one, I can't sleep, so you should write she says. They have given says in the example, so we should follow that. So, says. Most of the students wrote said and changed the tense and they lost the marks on that year in 2010. She says that the subject denotes her, so the subject pronoun is changed as she. Can't remains as can't. There is no change in the verb as the reporting verb is says. She can't sleep. The third one, he says that this I denotes him, so he, there it is I have heard, it is in present perfect tense. The subject is I, so they put have heard. But now I change the subject as he, so can we use have? No, we should use he has heard. It is on my back, he says, it's a possessive adjective. The pronoun should be changed as his back. Look at the fourth one. I have a headache all the time. So, she says or the girl says that this I denotes her, so the subject is she. So, if the subject is she, we can't use have, we should use has. She has a headache all the time. And the fifth one, the man says or he says that a dog, the first letter should be changed into small one. A dog, it is in past tense, so it should remain in the past tense. We should not change it into past perfect. A dog bit my leg changes into his leg. The last one, he says that the subject change as he fell down, it is in past tense, so it should remain as the same. He fell down and hurt. The reflexive pronoun myself denotes him, so we should change it as himself. Have you understood? It's very simple when you go through some activities. Here's also an activity for you. This is in the dialogue form. When you change it, you should write, Uncle said that he had gone to the river the day before. The yesterday changes as the day before or the previous day. I said that, or I told that. The you denotes you, so I say I said that, or I told that I wished to join with. The you denotes the uncle, the person in the dialogue. So the you denotes uncle, it will be him. Next time. Next one, brother. You are always taking my camera. I'll complain to mother. Brother said that. This you denotes me, so it will be changed as I. A is used to the subject you, and the subject is now changed as I. So the verb, the be verb should be I am. The past of the I am is was. So I was always taking. It is my camera, brother's camera, so it is his camera. Taking his camera. That I denotes brother, so he will change us into would. He would complain to mother. So here you say sorry. So when you say sorry, you can use the reporting verb apologized. So I apologized that I hadn't taken. That is in past tense, so I have to change it into past perfect. I hadn't taken it on that day. The next one, Sunil said, I am waiting for my results. So Sunil said that. This I denotes Sunil, so he, and the past of is was. He was waiting for. My results is Sunil's results, so his results. I said that. So I advised that. This is an advice, so you can use I advised that he may changes into might study English during this changes into that during that period. The reporting verb can be changed into the as per the mood of the sentences. If it is an advice, we can use advised. If it is an order, we can use ordered, right? If it is an order, we can use ordered. If it is a request, if the direct speech is used with please, it may be a request. So we can use the reporting verb as requested. If it is an advice, we can use advised or urged. If there is an advice with a never, we can use told, not to, or advised not to, or we can use forbade. When we use forbade, there is no need to use not. If you use forbade, we don't use not. Direction, If they direct something, we can use directed, or if it is a suggestion, begins with shall we or let's or something else. If it is a suggestion, we can use the reported verb as suggested to. If it is a warning, the reported verb will be warned. If they are asking for information, it will be asked or questioned. If a person is addressed directly, addressing a person directly or saluting a person directly, we use called. Likewise, we can use some more reported verbs. Here you have mainly you have three components in direct and indirect speech in your syllabus, that is changing them into changing the statements into indirect speech, changing the questions into indirect speech, and changing the commands or the imperatives into indirect speech. We went through changing the statements, and now we are going to change the questions. How to change the questions into reported speech? First, there are two main categories in the questions. They are yes or no questions and WH questions. Yes or no questions gives the answer yes or no. They may be accompanied with the choice questions, whether this or that. Would you prefer tea or coffee? It is a choice question. Did it rain yesterday? The answer will be yes or no. Right? It is an yes or no question. And the other type is WH questions. WH questions contains the question words begins with WH or HW. What, where, when, who. These types of questions are called WH questions. First, we look through how we are going to change the yes or no questions into indirect speech. First, we should know how we form yes or no questions. They are formed simply. I think from your grade 6, you learn how to form yes or no questions. We should bring the be verb or the auxiliary verb or the helping verb to the beginning of the sentence. That's all. If there is a be verb, bring it to the beginning of the sentence. If there is a helping verb with the main verb do, does or did, separate it and bring it to the beginning of the sentence. Or if there is auxiliary verb can, may or should, bring it to the beginning of the sentence. That's all. This is how we form yes or no questions. Look here, formed by bringing the be verbs or auxiliary or helping verbs to the beginning of a sentence. Ravi has got a computer. Here the has auxiliary is here. Bring it to the beginning. Now we have the question, has Ravi got a computer? It is explained clearly here. It is the yes or no question. The answer will be yes or no. Look at the second one. Sumit made all these arrangements. Here the helping verb did is joined with make, and the verb is now made. But within the made, there is a did and make. We separate it and bring it to the very beginning. And now the question is, did Smith, the verb is now make, verb stem is here, the make all these arrangements. This is a yes or no question. When changing to reported speech. Right. Now we looked how the yes or no questions are formed, and now we are going to look forward how to change them into reported speech. Yes or no questions are converted into indirect speech using if or whether. Formally, we use whether in written forms, but we can use if also. Commonly used word is if, and when we write it formally, we use whether. That means you can notice this word in your question papers. State whether these questions are true or false. Whether means there are two options, this or that, yes or no, right? Right. So here we don't use that. In statements, for statements we used that, and for yes or no questions or the questions we don't use that word, we use whether or if. The question mark is removed. We don't use the question mark in the indirect speech. And change the interrogative word order to the statement word order. The yes or no question is formed from the statement word order, and again it is changed to its normal word order. At the beginning, we change it to question by bringing the verb to the very beginning of the sentence, and now we should bring it to its older place and we change it to indirect speech. The reporting verb used is ask. It is a question, so we don't use said or told, we use asked. Look at the example. Sumati asked, is there a train to Colombo today? This is a yes or no question. Yes or no. The answer is yes or no. Now, look here. Earlier the is would be there. There is a train to Colombo today. That is the statement word order. We change it to the question word order. Is there a train to Colombo today? We change this as the question by bringing it to the beginning. Bringing the is to the beginning. Now we are going to change it to the reported speech. So we have to bring the is to its older place, earlier place. That means the is should be here. Right. Now how they changed? Sumati asked. This is a question, so we used asked. Remove the comma and the quotation mark. Instead of them, we used whether. The is has brought there, so whether there was, the past of is was, whether there was a train to Colombo today is changed into on that day. Here are some more examples. She said, do you like coffee? This is a question, so the reporting verb should be asked. She asked, it's a yes or no question, so we should use whether in that place, whether. The do went here. Do has been brought to its earlier place with a like. The subject is now I. So whether I, the past of like is liked coffee. Remove the question mark and put a full stop there. The second one, Rizvi asked me, can you help me? The question is asked toward me. So Rizvi asked me, we can use if or whether. The can goes after the subject, and now the subject is changed, the you is changed as I, and the can is changed as could. The past of can is could. Help. The me denotes Rizvi, so the pronoun changed, me is changed into her. Next one, Anush said, have you ever played for your school soccer team? Right. Here we used a different reporting verb, wanted to know. We can use that also because he is getting some information from me. So I can use wanted to know. Anush wanted to know. We can use if or whether here. We use if commonly. If the have goes behind the subject and the subject you is now changed as I. The past of have is had. I had played for. Your possessive adjective changed as my. Your school changed as my school soccer team. Remove the question mark and put a full stop there. Next example, he said to me, it is said to me, so the question is towards me. Is the car new or second hand? This is choice question. He asked me, the verb used is asked me whether, you can use if also, whether the is goes behind the subject, after the subject, the car, the past of is was, whether the car was new or second hand. There is no need for question mark. Some exercises for you. You can try these questions in your own. This is a yes or no question. So, we asked him. We should use if or whether. If the are goes after the subject you, this you denotes him, right? The you denotes him. We asked the question towards a boy, him. So, the subject is now he. The are was brought after the subject. Here the subject is you, so they used are. But now according to the speaker, we change this, speaker and the listener, we change the subject as he. So, the be verb should be is and the past of the be verb is was. He was ill. Full stop. Can you understand? Next one. Mother asked me. This is a yes or no question. So, you can use if or whether. If the will goes after the subject and the subject is you, the question is questioned towards me. So, the subject now is I. Whether I. The past of will is now would. Return home early. Full stop. The third one. I asked him. Here I asked him. If or whether. Whether. The auxiliary can goes after the subject I. This question is asked by me. So, the subject remains as I. I. The past of can. Now, the normal word order can changes as could, help. I asked him. So, the you denotes him. I asked him whether I could help him. The next one. She asked us. Right. This question is questioned towards us. So, the subject changes as is changed as if we. The did goes after the subject and joins with the main verb. So, feel is now felt. The past of the past tense is past perfect, so we should use has plus past participle. We had felt cold. The last one. He asked, do you want tea or coffee? This is a choice question. So as usual, he asked if. Imagine that he asked towards me, so the you changed as I. The do goes after the subject and joins with the verb want. The past of want is wanted. If I wanted tea or coffee. Remove the question mark and add the full stop. Right. In a brief, when we change the yes or no questions into indirect speech, we should use whether or if instead of that. Remove the comma and the inverted comma and the question mark and put a full stop. Change the question word order into the statement word order. That means bring the verb after the subject or in the earlier place. So now we go through the WH questions. These questions are formed by using what, when, who, where, which, whom or how. The question words with W and H. They give a detailed answer. Yes or no questions give yes or no only, but WH questions give a detailed answer. For example, they are leaving tonight. How to form them? First, we form the yes or no question and then we put the WH at the beginning of that yes or no question and remove the answer from the question. Look here, look at the example. Here the answer should be tonight. So you all know the question word should be when. Right. They are leaving tonight. Change this into yes or no question. Are they leaving tonight? And now the answer is tonight. We should remove it from the yes or no question and write the WH at the beginning. And the WH for this one, this answer is when. So when are they leaving? This is how the WH questions are formed. Geet built a compound wall. The built, did plus build is built. It is in the past tense. So first we should change it into yes or no question. Did Geet build a compound wall? The answer is the compound wall. So the question word should be what? So remove the answer from this question and write what at the beginning of this yes or no question. Now the question is formed. What did Geet build? This is how we form WH questions. Right. Some more examples. The policeman caught the thief. Here the subject is the question word answer. So the question word is who. Who caught the thief? Here the subject is the answer. So there is no need to change the word order as who denotes that subject. The glass was broken by the child. The question is what was broken by the child? She can't call me as she has lost her phone. This is a clause. This clause, recent clause should be the answer. So the question word should be why. So first change it into yes or no question and then remove the answer and put the suitable WH at the beginning of the yes or no question. Why can't she call me? Right. When changing the WH questions, when changing the yes or no questions, we used if or whether. But when we change the WH questions, the WH word remains at the same place and the sentence, the question is changed into the normal word order. Look here, the normal word order is used subject, verb, object. Question mark is removed and full stop is added. Right. Rashid said to me, why are you late? So the subject, the verb goes behind after the subject. The are goes after the you and you comes before the verb. Rashid asked me why remains at the same place. The WH same remains at the same place and the are goes behind the you and the subject is now I. So for the I, the be verb is am, past of am is was. So Rashid asked me why I was late. Next one, he said to me, where was the dog lost? Was goes behind the after the subject and the where remains at the same place. Where the dog was lost. The past of was is had been where the dog had been lost. Right. When we use when we change the indirect questions with who, what and whom, they may denote the subject or the object of the reported clause. So there is no change in the word order. Look at the examples. I said to them, who came to meet at the airport? When changing this, I asked, the reporting verb is asked them. The WH remains at the same place. The past of the past is past perfect, who had come to meet at the airport. The subject and the WH are same, so we don't change the word order. She says, what has been brought by him? So it is in present tense, the reporting verb is in present tense, so we don't change the tense in the reported speech. She asks, what has been brought by him? There is no change in the tense. Has been remains as has been because the reporting verb is in present tense. The last session is imperatives. A sentence that expresses a command, an order or an advice or a suggestion is called imperative. For example, open the door, it's a command. Please help me, it's a request. Quit smoking, advice. Don't make a noise, order or command. These type of sentences do not bring the subject with them, but they have subject, indirect subject, you. The reader or the listener should understand that they are told to them, towards them. We don't use subjects here. When changing the imperatives, if the imperative contains the word please or kindly, we avoid it and use the word reporting verb requested. We avoid the please and kindly and use the reporting verb requested. As usual, we remove comma and inverted comma and we use to plus infinitive form. We don't change the tense. Here we use to plus infinitive. For statements we used that. For yes or no questions we used whether. For WH questions the WH remains at the same place, and for the imperatives we use to. If it is a negation, do not, we use not to. Right? The teacher said to Ravi, stand up on the bench. This is a command. The teacher ordered Raj to stand up. To, we use to here. To stand up on the bench. So when we use to, this is infinitive, to infinitive. So it does not change its tense. She said to her friend, do not tell a lie. This is a negative advice. So she advised her friend not to. If the direct speech says do not, we write it not to. If it is in positive do, we use to. Here are some reporting verbs used for imperatives with examples. Requested, she said me, please help me. Here there is a word please. So when we change it, she requested me to help her. The reporting verb is requested. The me denotes her, so I change it her. Next one is an order. The boss said to the employee, get out of the room. This is an order. So the boss ordered to the employee to get out of the room. Stop. And the third one is the advice. The teacher said to him, don't waste your time, but it is in negative. So the teacher advised him not to waste. Your time denotes his time, so it is changed as his. And forbade, it is used for negations, not. My mother said to me, never be lazy. This is a negative advice. So my mother forbade me to be lazy. Here we don't use not, because we use the reporting verb forbade. The last one, suggested. Doctor said to a patient, change your lifestyle and eating habits. So it is a suggestion. Doctor suggested a patient to change. The patient may be a female or a male, so your may be his or her lifestyle and eating habits. Here are some activities for you. She said to him, consult a doctor. This is a suggestion. So how can we change it? She advised him. We should use to. Consult a doctor. Second one, I asked my manager, please grant me leave tomorrow. I requested, this is a request. I requested my manager to grant me a leave a leave. Tomorrow is changed into next day or the following day. And the third one, he said to me, you should work hard to achieve. This is an advice, so we should use advised. He advised me to work hard to achieve. The fourth one, he said to me not to smoke. This is also an advice, but it is in negative form, so I can use forbade. He forbade me to smoke. There is no need to use not to, as I used forbade. The fifth one, the teacher said to us, bring your assignments tomorrow. This is an order, so we write it. Teacher ordered us to bring. This is told to us, so the your changed into our assignments on the next day or the following day. These are the only things you have in your syllabus for GC O-level examination. First, we change the statements, and next we change the yes or no questions, then WH questions, and now we went through the imperatives. Recall all the things, go through word by word, and this is easier than the active passive. Very simple and easier section. So don't be fear of this, don't be confused. The full marks can be gained for the reported speech in your examination. Good luck. Thank you.